Your meatloaf is mushy, your salmon croquettes are oily, and your eggplant parmesan is a disgrace to this house. Because this week, we watched Season 8, Episode 6, The Fatigues. Hello, Katie.
Hello, Derek.
How are you?
I'm well, and you?
I'm going to sneeze.
So,
How'd you like The Fatigues?
did I like it? I'm confused.
What are you confused about?
I don't like it, but then I laughed many times.
You laughed many times.
What
You
is
were
going
enjoying
on?
things. You were like in Kramer. You were like in Elaine.
When did I laugh at Elaine? When she hung up on Jerry.
Yep.
Otherwise,
You
I
like
was
businesswoman Elaine. You like it's smarmy Elaine. You like smarmy Elaine.
I like smarmy Elaine, but she wasn't really smarmy Elaine. She was terrified Elaine, and this whole storyline made me uncomfortable.
Mm.
The only time I liked her is when she hung up on Jerry.
You left at Kramer attempting to make food in 3 kitchens.
See, the more you're trying to convince me that I liked it, the less I think that I liked it.
Mm.
I was going to say, loved Frank and Estelle in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I get the ending, but I don't like the ending.
Mm.
What
The
did you
freeze frame or the...
Oh, you know I don't like a freeze frame.
Mm.
But I think that if they'd cut that ending, like, we're going right to the end, but why not? If they'd cut that ending at Frank's horrified, like, he's staring up into the ceiling, getting flashbacks, like, stop it there.
Mm.
I thought the pushing the food off the tables and stuff was like, it was too Kramer of him.
It's the Kramer of it all that you don't like.
Yeah. Did you like this episode?
I mean, we'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I just did.
So the writers of this episode said that it might have been the hardest editing of any episodes in the series that they had ever had to do, because they filmed so many things and then trying to squeeze it into broadcast 23 minutes. They said it felt very much like they were only hitting the major plot points, and so much had to be cut out.
I'm not surprised, because when I read the synopsis to write it down, I was like, oh my God, this episode has this and this and this and this. Like, everyone's got an A story and nothing is on the back burner.
Yeah, but they all come together.
They do, but not successfully, I would argue.
Well, the writers of this episode would probably beg to differ. The writers of this episode were Greg Cavett and Andy Robin. It was directed by Andy Ackerman, and it aired on October 31st, 1996. Vulture.com ranked this as the 82nd best episode. Screen Crush had it at 65, and IMDb ranked it at 135, giving it an 8.0 flat out of 10. This episode did win the episode. Greg Cavett and Andy Robin won for Best Episodic Comedy at the Writers Guild of America 1997 awards.
Really? Why was it called The Fatigues and not The Mentor or The Protege?
That would have made so much more sense.
No, I can't justify it. They're like, well, Frank was in the army and this guy wears fatigues. But yes, we see that at the end.
I wonder if there was more footage about the
maybe.
fatigues.
Is this like you came up with the title first and then you did the episode?
I wonder at what point do they come up with the title?
It should probably be at the end. I'm going to write a book called The Magnificent Horse. And then I got to cram my ideas into the title I've come up with.
Yeah, you don't want to have to try to cram things into a horse.
You end up having to cut so much.
Let's throw it back to last week to see if I remembered this episode.
Well, you did not.
No. Because, as we previously have said, it was mistitled. I don't know if I would have remembered the whole mentorship portion. I definitely remember like Frank's flashbacks, and I remember risk management, and I remember round teen.
I think you've said that joke to me.
Probably. I do love things that dissolve in milk. Why don't you read the synopsis?
Jerry becomes Banya's mentor. Banya? Banya. Elaine struggles with an intimidating employee. Kramer hosts a Jewish singles night. George is bothered by an audiobook. I think by the time I wrote down Kramer hosts a Jewish singles night, I was like rolling my eyes. Like, here we go.
Was Elaine intimidated?
Yes.
What was the exact wording that they used for Elaine?
Elaine struggles with an intimidating employee.
Right. What was Elaine struggling with an intimidating employee, or was Elaine intimidated by an employee? That wasn't really all that intimidating.
I mean, maybe it's just the company we keep, but I was like, yeah, I know people like that.
She was intimidated by like a weirdo that probably should have been fired.
Is she worried he's gonna like come after her if she fires him? So I feel like she was on her executive high horse, right? She's got her secretary calling Jerry saying, hold for Elaine Bennis, and oh, my mail is coming in so late. Bring this guy up here. I'm going to fire him, right? There's a tactful way of doing this. The assistant or secretary definitely knows what's up with this guy. She could have asked her, be like, what's the deal with the mail guy? She would have said, ooh, right? Given her some info. And Elaine has worked there before she was in charge. Would she not have known? Or at least had experience with this weirdo?
Maybe.
So she's all like, I'm going to fix it. And then, would you like to be promoted?
Yeah, I mean, when you like compliment sandwich someone, or you shouldn't really start like the top loaf of bread shouldn't be promotion. So intimidating employee / Eddie was played by Ned Bellamy. He was in Justified, Twilight, and The Shawshank Redemption. Abby, the protege, was played by A.J. Langer.
That's a name I recognize.
She was in My So-Called Life, The People Under the Stairs, and Escape from L.A.
Does she have naturally blonde hair?
Maybe.
Because she has brown eyes.
Oh.
And we had a whole conversation about
blonde hair, brown eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one.
What color was her hair in the episode?
It was highlighted, so that's why I'm asking. Does she have blonde hair or no?
Right. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. She might.
I mean, you did her IMDb, so like, is she blonde and everything?
I don't think so.
Oh.
She wasn't blonde in the episode of Seinfeld that she did.
That wasn't blonde?
No. Was that blonde?
It was like blonde highlighted, but women who have blonde hair when they're younger, it goes like dirty blonde, and they usually highlight it back to blonde.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Sure.
No, you don't. Anybody you see over the age of 30 who has blonde hair does not have blonde hair.
My world has been shattered.
Sorry.
What about
except maybe like Tilda Swinton.
What about Nicole Kidman?
I think she has red hair.
What about Gillian Anderson?
No, not blonde.
What about Gillian Jacobs?
Not blonde. Did you see her in Love? That's her hair color.
Not blonde?
No! It was like mousy gray brown.
Cynthia, the mentor, was played by Katie Lehman. She was in Say Anything, Another World, and Moonlighting. Have you ever seen Moonlighting?
No.
Neither have I. I think Moonlighting has an abortion episode.
Oh, it's a TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
With Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis?
Oh, I was going to ask. He's a bartender at night?
I don't know. I guess so.
Maybe we should watch it.
It is not available for streaming anywhere.
Oh, too bad. Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, there was lots of return guests that I didn't look up because we've talked about them previously.
Have we talked about Elaine's employee who looks like Lin-Manuel Miranda?
I don't think we have, although, yeah, he does. He talks like a theater guy.
Yeah.
So, Katie.
Yes?
Have you ever had a mentor?
I was trying to think about it. No. I feel like at work I was open to the idea of having a mentor. And I named one of my friends my unofficial mentor. But no, I've not had a mentor.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a mentor?
No. I mean, I can obviously, think of like bosses or people that I've worked with that I've like learned things from. But I
yeah, but that's not the definition.
That's not the same thing about a mentor or protege relationship.
There were official mentor, mentee. They called it mentee, not protege. That makes you sound mental.
A little bit.
But that was not offered to me. Probably because I didn't want to be a manager. So they're like, what's the point?
They're just grooming you for management?
Yeah. Well, later I wrote, did all of our executives get promoted because they were scary and weird and people wanted to get rid of them?
That is a good, I mean, that's why people get transferred around.
Yeah.
Well, you fail up to a certain point, but like whenever you hear about like, oh, blah, blah, got transferred from whatever team, it's like, they're a problem. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, a new start will make them a better person or a better employee.
A new start or a better boss.
How good of an employee they are is
how good of a boss they are.
Not related to
you realize what you were saying?
How good of their person they are.
You keep saying problem employees and I keep saying problem bosses.
Yeah.
Is it because you're a supervisor now you think you're better than me?
No.
So this opening scene relates to the episode.
Yeah.
I wonder if they shot some non sequitur opening scene like they usually
cut
do.
It because they were like, we don't have time for bullshit.
George is going to do a talk on risk management.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's on my resume.
That was a good line. George seems very interested in having a protege just so that he can give someone
his busy work
to do.
Yeah.
Or it's not a valet, it's a protege.
He wants a valet. When
we just gotta get a butler.
When we were both working outside of home, I didn't want a cleaning lady. I didn't want personal chef. I just needed a valet. I need someone to drive me to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then do some crap tasks, right? Like I wanted to hang out with our kid. I didn't mind cleaning the house. I didn't mind cooking, but it's all the other stuff. You need someone to return packages for you and book you doctor's appointments.
A butler? He buttles?
Yeah.
Maybe a monkey butler.
You don't have to hire a human. You have a wife. I need a wife.
2 wives.
No. You have 1 wife, and I have 1 wife. You don't have 2 wives.
You get 2 spouses.
Yeah, but one of them's a wife. She would do all the tasks.
You'll find out that having a wife isn't as cracked up as I make it seem.
I didn't write down the whole quote. What was Kramer's flyer? A tempting schmear?
That's all I wrote down. A tempting schmear. A tempting schmear of authentic Jewish delicacies.
Have you ever had kreplach?
I would say that I'm not super familiar with traditional Jewish food. Tzimmus? Tsimis?
What's Timis?
Tsimmis
I don't
is
know.
what Kramer asks after Elaine says that.
So I didn't think I was familiar with traditional Jewish food, and then as I was looking it up, I was like, oh, there are direct counterparts in traditional Ukrainian food.
Different words are the same things.
Well, the kreplach are like the dumplings that every culture has. But when Kramer was pulling them, when Kramer was carrying them in the bowl, they looked like oysters.
A little bit, yeah.
Oysters are not kosher, though.
No.
You usually have kreplach in soup.
It's like ushka. Yeah, like ushka. They kind of look like big ushka.
Yeah, they looked, so they could have meat or potato filling or other stuff. They kind of looked like they had mushrooms in there because it was like a darker filling. They looked good.
They apparently tasted very bad.
Well, he got the multiplication wrong.
And he dropped them on the floor.
And apparently there's some stuffed cabbage dish in the elevator.
It's,
that's cabbage rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holubchi.
Holubchi. That's the only thing I reliably make well from Ukrainian food.
Borscht.
And my borscht is pretty good too.
Pampushke.
Can't do it. Speaking of food, after Jerry and Abby go to dinner.
You gotta try the duck, Jerry. It's the best. The best.
So Jerry has the chicken. And George goes, marsala? Piccata. Have you had either or made either?
No.
Do you know the difference? I had to look it up.
I mean, no, go ahead. Tell me what the difference is.
No, you have something to say.
I mean, I've watched videos on making both of them.
Oh, okay. So you do know the difference.
I mean,
marsala is like a winey mushroom sauce.
Yeah.
And piccata is like a lemony caper sauce.
Okay.
I don't know if there's tomatoes in either of them.
I think there's tomatoes in marsala.
Oh, maybe. It's like a mainly winey sauce with some veg.
Yeah.
Right, whatever.
Okay.
Both looked good. I haven't made like a saucy chicken dish in a long time.
Yeah.
Or like one where you slice a chicken breast and dredge it, so like each slice has a bit of browning on it. I haven't done that in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to cook.
Yep. That's why we had bacon and eggs for dinner tonight.
Is it because my eggplant parmesan is a disgrace to this house?
Well, I'm the only one that cooks around here.
Well, it sucks!
God, you laughed very hard when you said that. Just to go back, there's like a fancy donut shop down the street from us. And one time they did have a lemon ricotta donut, and I ordered it as a lemon piccata donut.
You asked for lemon piccata?
Yeah.
They probably didn't catch it.
They didn't catch it. So Frank, I mean, this is post flashback. So Frank has decided that he's going to cook again. Fun fact: production hired a professional chef strictly for the close-up egg cracking shot. But under pressure, the chef couldn't do it, so they ended up using just like somebody from the production crew just like went up and cracked an egg with one hand.
Oh my God. That's too funny. So let's talk about all the frankness of this episode.
I mean, that's the highlight of this episode, I think.
Yeah. When they cut to Kramer at Frank and Estelle's house, and we go super close up to his face, and the one light is on, and he's in his chair. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Pours himself a Hennigan's. Not trying to de-age him in the flashback at all.
They put a hat on him. They could have done some face taping.
Nothing
at all. Does he always have a mustache? I guess he does.
Yeah.
I thought, he grew out his mustache. No, he always has a mustache. sent 16 of my own men to the latrines that night. Oh my God. I love him dumping spices and hitting that meat with a shovel.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't recommend that as a seasoning method.
When Frank goes to Kramer's after he's decided to cook again, he knocks on Kramer's door like Frankenstein.
It's a whole body knock. He just like lifts up his shoulder and he like pivots at the hip.
Yeah. You got Tefal?
No, what are the pans that he says he had?
Calphalon or something.
Calphalon.
Follow me.
Mm-hmm. Tefal. Nah.
Did you know? So this is a kind of a Berenstain Bears moment because Tefal to me is T-FAL.
Mm.
And I went to look it up, and the company is actually TEFAL. But the DuPont company has the trademark on Teflon. Oh. And they're like, oh, Tefal sounds too much like Teflon. So in the US and Canada, you have to change it.
But they
to
still
T-. I know.
Oh.
I know. But like literally TEFAL is too close. So they couldn't use it. We were just talking about Teflon pans today.
We were. You want to stop using them? Yeah.
We have nice stainless cookware.
Yeah, but we only have like 3 pots.
The pots aren't
the issue.
How
many pots should we have?
The pots are not the issue.
The pots are not the issue, dude.
We have a big pot. We have a medium pot. And we have several small pots. Uh-huh. And then we have a big ass pot.
Okay.
How many more pots do you want?
I just don't want to use the fancy pots.
You only live once, dude. Use the fancy pots.
Are our stainless steel pans Tefal? Does Tefal make non-Teflon pans?
No, because it's literally Teflon coated cookware. They're I don't know. So what's the good stainless thing?
Longostina or whatever it is?
No. It's the good one. Do we want to talk about Banya or Jerry or the protege?
Sure.
I didn't write anything about them.
So, one thing that I was thinking about, these people are adults. How does a mentor protege, like obviously this relationship ends poorly. Mm-hmm. How does like a normal one, like if there's no money exchange, there's just like, all right, do you want to stop doing this?
Well, this mentor protege relationship is overstepping the bounds because it's supposed to be professional advice.
Sure, yeah. But it's like life advice.
No, I think it's meant to be specific to like I'm forgetting people's names. They're so but
Cynthia? Abby?
No, George. George shouldn't be Abby's mentor because they're not in the same business.
Oh, sure, yeah.
She doesn't know anything about risk management.
I don't think she's in sports, no.
He also doesn't know anything about risk management.
No. It might be on her resume, though.
Right? So it's meant to be like, I think you make an agreement. Mm-hmm. Like for the next year, I will mentor you. Mm-hmm. And then I guess at the end of that, you decide if you keep going or not. Mm. Because maybe the mentor wants to mentor somebody else. Or maybe the protege is like, this is a dependent relationship. It's too intense. Also, would you ever join a table for dinner?
No. Like, unless, like, especially not on a date.
No.
You almost spilled your wine. You gesticulated so wildly.
It's insane. If they all knew each other and happened to be at the same place, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Or it was planned.
Oh, no, but I'm not talking about if it was planned.
But, like, and you're joining, it's like...
You're meeting somebody for the first time, then you have to eat with them? No, thanks.
That's my nightmare.
I thought your nightmare was accidentally ordering lobster at a restaurant.
No, not accidentally ordering lobster. It's ordering lobster and then it comes as like a full thing I gotta crack into. I do think it's kind of funny to imagine how bad Banya's act must have been for
Before?
it to have broken up 3 relationships. And he's a professional comic.
And the improvement is rounding.
Yeah.
At the end, when George is up there with the Ovaltine jokes,
Mm-hmm.
I did like the timing. And he's, very confident and cocky, throwing the folder aside, and then
Ovaltine. Why do they call it Ovaltine?
and I guess maybe Mr. Wilhelm's never that close up to the camera, but I noticed that he has rosacea.
Yeah.
Of the nose that is turned into rhinophyma.
Mm-hmm.
You can get that cauterized off.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Been spending a lot of time on...
This is what the algorithm feeds me. Contrary to popular belief, it's not caused by drinking. Not always caused by drinking.
The algorithm feeding you plastic surgery reels?
Yeah.
I'm like a phoenix. Rising from Arizona.
You said that line a couple times.
It's a fantastic line.
So Eddie chokes, right? It's not even the food is bad.
No, it's just because Elaine pushes him. He
starts choking. Yeah. I love the slow-mo flashback of the soldiers barfing into their hats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this episode is good. It just maybe needed to be 2 different episodes.
Yeah, maybe they should have, instead of cutting it down, turned it into a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Retrospectively, Andy Ackerman did admit that the studio's choice to not use the footage that they filmed of the soldiers full frontal vomiting down the barrel of the camera.
Oh, God.
Was probably the right choice.
And I'm glad in this case, cooler heads prevailed. I really appreciate that you didn't see any vomit.
Yeah, I was I know how you feel about vomit, and I was watching you for.
But see, you don't need it. You don't need it. We know what's happening because they're actors.
You can do the old trick with the hose of soup stuffed down your sleeve.
Oh, God. I don't think you ever need to actually see the vomit. I worked with somebody that if you just made a sound, she would throw up.
It's tough to keep your feet dry when you're kicking in a skull.
Does he mean because you get brains on it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the only redeeming quality of the Eddie weirdo storyline was when Elaine was like, "So Eddie, tell me what's wrong with you. Don't be a baby.
Don't be a baby."
And he was just like, "I really like this girl and she broke up with me."
Is he
it's basically just predicting the incel.
Yeah, I wrote that. Oh, that's all I got.
I did like how Jerry said, "I don't want to date a protege whose mentor is a Costanza."
I think I missed that.
Just the total lack of respect he has for his best and lifelong friend.
Yeah.
What's he going to teach you? How to tip 5% of the bill at a restaurant?
Oh, so I was going to bring up that George is faking a disability.
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about audiobooks.
So I thought that the doctor was going to take away George's license.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that would be bad.
He should have.
Yeah, there seem to be very few consequences from being declared legally completely blind. I mean, this is the first time that George fakes a disability.
Yeah. He didn't have to... I know it's the 90s. He didn't have to go to blind. couldn't he just like go to his doctor and be like, I can't concentrate on reading. Maybe I have a learning disability. Get me this audiobook.
Do you think it would have been less trouble to bribe the blind guy he met on the subway to just get it for him?
Oh, that's what I thought he was going to do. Be like, hey, can you get me Principles of Risk Management?
Yeah.
Here's my phone number. And then hijinks ensue or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the audiobook voice is basically his voice.
Enters the illicit black market trading ring of textbook audiobooks.
It follows from the video bootlegging.
Sure, yeah. You could bring back, what's that guy's name? Ryan?
Smitty? I don't know.
Rylan?
Did you know that Instagram told me that if you fake a disability to get to the front of a line at Disney, they will ban you for life?
Oh.
Well, I was watching a reaction video because someone was like, can you believe this? And then the reaction was like, good, they're doing this. Like some lowlife was like, oh, I'm going to ban you for life if you pretend to be disabled. Also, I made reservations at a restaurant, and right on the menu page, it said, due to the proliferation of food allergies and the strain it puts on our kitchen, we will not accommodate you if you have a severe allergy that will result in your death. Like, just don't come.
We're going to do our thing.
Yeah. But they said, if you have intolerances, please call ahead and we'll see what we can do. So I guess they're like, we'll try, but we're not going to be liable for, like, if you're out at the latrine, like, we're willing to take that risk. But if you're going to die, don't come.
So, I mean, like the allergy protocol in commercial kitchens is quite like rigorous, right?
Yeah.
Especially like you have to stop everything else that you're doing. So it's very disruptive to the thing. So I can somewhat like understand that. I don't know if you heard recently, a former Disney employee used credentials that he remembered from his job that weren't rotated out after he was fired to log into a vendor's website that produced the menus for food at Disney parks, and he changed the allergy information on the menus to indicate that foods that were not allergy safe were in fact allergy safe.
That's evil.
Yeah, it's
I
bad.
thought he was going to do something silly and fun.
No, like
put the word fart on the menu.
Like I can understand being like a disgruntled employee and being like upset that you were fired, but like this doesn't seem like it's punishing the right person.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's evil.
Yeah.
Famously, they are not peanut free.
No.
It's too bad. Anywho, next week we have the checks.
Yep.
What's it about?
So Jerry keeps getting, what's it called?
Checks.
What's it called when you get like
royalties?
Royalty checks from appearances on Japanese television, but the checks are for like, less than $1 each. And so he has to sign several hundred of them and he gets a cramp in his hand.
All right. There'll be no podcast next week.
There will 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 be no podcast next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Believe it or not, this is our podcast. Please subscribe at the end. If you subscribed, we would be happy. Please subscribe to us. Believe it or not, it's our podcast.
Is that a Seinfeld reference?